Okay, my people, welcome back. This is lesson 4 practical section, and I hope you have a wonderful time. So, first of all, I'm just going to walk through what we did the last time. In our previous practical section, we created a function called query data that can take in a query as an argument and provide a result. So, we had about 10 queries. Yes. So today we are just going to touch on aggregate functions. Since they are all queries, we are just going to reuse this function that we have already. So we'll move on to query 11. The first function we are going to touch on today is the sum function. I'll just name it query 11 because we are picking up from where we left off in our previous practical lesson. We'll put the query in quotes. First of all, I'll have to run the first cell and I'll have to run the query data function. And then we can run this function here. So we are passing query 11 as an argument to the query data function. Oopsie. Okay, so I just found something out right now. I'm going to show you a difference in these two. I'm going to print result 11 and bro, it's price, not prices. So here's what we get if I print result 11. But if I just make it result, it brings a data frame. So I'm just going to make a result. And let's move on to the next query. The next function we'll touch on is the count function. And it's basically going to be almost the same thing. So I'll copy this and paste it here. Change all 11s to 12. And I would select all rows and count them. From the fruit table, so here we are counting all fruits that have a price between 3 and 4 inclusive. So the next query we would have is the average function. The next query we'll have will be with the minimum function. So here we would want to select the minimum price from fruits. The next function will be the maximum function. So we select the name column, and in the round function we pass in the price column as an argument, and we round it to 1 decimal place. There we go.
Right here, we have a list of all the fruits in our table with their prices rounded to 1 decimal place. Next, we'll talk about grouping rows by their characteristics. We might want to group rows that contain fruits that start with a particular letter like A and then perform operations on it. I'll just go ahead and collapse these cells by clicking on these blue lines to make my notebook clearer. Let's select all the fruits that start with the letter A. Then we would find the average of these fruits. Next, we want to select all the fruits. So we'll select the name column and the price column, and we'll group them by their names. So the A fruits will come first, followed by the B's and the C's. And here's another way to group by a column. We'll use a numerical representation of the column as it appears in the query. So let's copy this and edit it to query 20. And change it to group by 1, because in this query, the name column appears first. Next, we want to count the number of times a fruit has a particular price. So we'll first select the price column, and then we'll count the number of fruits that have that price. So each price will appear only once in our result set. So here we see that some prices appeared once, some appeared twice, some appeared 4 times. So here's how we group by prices. Next, we would want to round the prices and group all the fruits by the rounded prices. So let's change this query to query 21 and edit the query to select the rounded prices, and we count how many fruits round to that price, and then we group by the rounded price, which is the first column in this query. So we could write 1. This will give us the same result if we write group by round price. Our next query is going to use the having clause. We'll need some more info in our table. So I created this function to alter our table and add more columns and data. As usual, we create a connection and a cursor object, and in our try block, we add the new columns, which are season, taste profile, and shelf life. Then we update our table with the new data. What we see here is the name first, then the price of the fruit, the season, the taste profile, the shelf life before the ID of the fruit. The reason we do it this way is because in our update query, we have that order. It begins with setting the name, then the price, the season, the taste profile, the shelf life before the ID. Next, we execute the updates for each record using execute menu, and then we commit the changes with connection.commit. If this has been done without any error, we will print columns added and data updated successfully. In the case of an error, there is a print statement that will appear with the error. Whether there is an error or not, in the finally block, we will close the connection. Now, let's take a look at our updated table. We see all 50 fruits with the new columns and the data updated successfully. It's now time for us to write our final query using the having clause. So I have copied some. Let's paste this query I copied here and edit it to query 22. In this query, the first thing we want to do is to select the season column. Next, we'll select the shelf life column. Then we'll count all the fruits by their seasons, as we are grouping by 1, which represents the season. And we'll filter out the groups that have a count less than 7. So the groups that have a count greater than 7 will remain in our result set. Here we have it. We have the summer group and the year-round. That's it for today's practical session. I hope you had a wonderful time. Until next time, keep on practicing and see you in the next video. Bye!